Welcome. Welcome to the Terminate Toxins webinar. I'm so happy you are joining me or catching the replay, if that in fact is what you're going to be doing later. Truly, the fact that you guys are here today to learn how to improve your health really tells me something about you. And what this tells me about you is you are the type of person who strives to be better every day. There's so many other things that you could be doing right now. So being able to take an hour to spend with me today tells me a lot. It tells me that you're invested in making sure you have the most wonderful life possible, and you recognize that that starts with your health. So 3 things you're going to walk away with today. Number 1, you're going to understand the 6 major toxic threats. Number 2, you're going to walk away with a list of swaps to detoxify your home. And number 3, you're going to learn the most impactful habits you can create to support natural detoxification. Now, in order to get the most out of today, we do have to debunk a myth real quick here. So I don't know about you, but I've always heard this term where knowledge is power. And I want to tell you that it's not true. Believe it or not, knowledge is actually potential. Action is what is power. And so here's what I don't want for you today. I don't want you to sit here for the next hour and hear some great information and then change nothing. Your story will not change that way. You must develop new habits. So here's what it's going to take. I want you to take notes. So passive listening retains about 15% of the information, but active listening, meaning that you're engaged, you're taking notes, even if you don't go back and look at those notes for a while or ever again, that active listening actually helps you to increase retention of the information by up to 90%. Okay, so I want you to be active listeners today. So a little bit about me. I am the Director of Nutrition at Summit Family Chiropractic, helping both patients and those in our community with their nutrition, their health, and their wellness. I am a certified functional nutritional therapy practitioner, and I've completed a host of certifications within many different areas of health. And I'm also continuing my education right now at the School of Applied Functional Medicine. I feel super blessed to be a part of the amazing team at Summit. I've been there for a little over 4 years. And I'm also very blessed with a wonderful family. I have an amazing husband. I have 3 wonderful teenagers. Big lovable chocolate lab. That's a picture of a couple of us. And we live here in Coeur and just love being a part of this amazing community. So here is the problem. This is why I'm talking about this today. You are exposed to over 700,000 toxins and toxic chemicals every single day. The research actually is pointing more towards to like 2 million toxins per day, but we're going to roll with the 700,000 right now, okay? So we are under the greatest environmental assault that we have ever been in the history of humanity. And one of the biggest problems is that we can't see it. And many times, I don't know about you, but many times when we can't see something, it's not important to us. But the staggering number of chemicals that we come in contact with affects us drastically. I'm going to share a little study. So there was a study done by the Environmental Working Group, and I'm going to talk about them a lot today. They looked at 9 adults that didn't live, work, or come in contact with any industrial chemicals. They were all tested for 210 contaminants that have globally been recognized as persistent pollutants, which means they get into our environment and our bodies and they don't leave. And out of those 210 contaminants, there were 167 present in those 9 adults. Now remember, they did not live, work, or come in contact with these contaminants. So that's just like startling to me. Many of these contaminants cause cancer, they disrupt hormones, they affect the immune system, they can lead to autoimmune conditions, they even affect our nervous system and so much more. So toxicity is a really big deal and something that we need to be aware of so we can support our bodies in overall healing. So what exactly is a toxin? It's a substance or a chemical that we encounter in our day-to-day life, and it causes damage to us humans, whether it's immediate or over time. So toxins are all around us. They're found in our air, our soil, our food, our water. They're in our homes, they're in the products that we're using, and so much more. And they affect our body in different ways. And what I want to share real quickly is about the toxic bucket theory. It is true that your body is able to handle toxicity. And we do have this amazing natural detox pathway in our body. But when you're overloaded with toxicity, then poor health sets in, symptoms begin, and then disease sets in. And so if you have all these toxins going into your bucket, so to speak, and it's not draining, it will overfill. It's going to overflow. And this is when symptoms and disease can set in. So it's a slow filling of the bucket over time, along with your body's inability to empty the bucket and or to detoxify efficiently and regularly, that can lead to health issues. So the toxins that come into the body, they go to your liver, and you can start to overload the liver. And when the liver can no longer detox them, they get shunted to your GI tract. And in the GI tract, they mess up the balance of the good bacteria in your microbiome. And they also physically destroy the gut cells, which leads to leaky gut. So when you have bad microflora, the stomach isn't acidic enough as it should be. Suddenly you can no longer absorb vitamins and minerals from your foods, your supplements. And when you destroy the gut cells and you have leaky gut, now there is toxicity just rampant in your body. And as those toxins get out of the gut and into your bloodstream, which they shouldn't, and they get carried all over the body, this is when disease sets in. This is when the bucket starts to overflow. This is when the cascade of events begins. And you can have GI issues, you can have overeating, you can have hormone dysregulation, you can have DNA damage. And this slow process of accumulating toxins in the body then leads to a diagnosis and a disease. Now, the truth is that you're actually being lied to. These toxic chemicals are not banned substances, and they're not plastered with warning labels exposing how dangerous they truly are. These toxic chemicals that I'm talking about are actually marked as safe, and they are simply included in the products that you're using the most in your life. So many naysayers, even the FDA, will tell you that if we ingest these toxins in just small amounts, right, the body is barely going to notice and they'll be able to handle it. But here's the problem, is that it's not small amounts. So I want you to think about it, whether it's in food, it's in your beauty products, it's in your cleaning products you use, maybe it's your food storage, your water. Once you increase the amount you are actually consuming, then those toxins actually do become a problem. And I want you to remember, it's not just affecting you. What happens in your body is passed to your children through genetic imprinting, imbalanced microflora, and the direct passing of toxicity from mom to child. I don't know about you, but I have noticed a huge rise in cancer for our children. They're becoming younger and younger. And we know that childhood cancer rates have risen 67% since the 1950s. So kids are being born with a toxic burden. And that's just, it's so sad to me. We know this because of research. So the EWG, they did a study where they examined cord blood to see how many toxins were passed on from mother to child. And I'm going to share with you real quickly, this is what they found. So they found that newborns begin their lives with as many as 287 out of the 413 toxic chemicals that they were testing in this study. Of those 287 toxic chemicals, 180 of them cause cancer, 217 damage the nervous system, and 208 lead to developmental problems. There was an average of 200 toxins found per baby, and there were 101 toxins found in all of the babies in this study. So it's absolutely critical that we learn how to decrease and minimize our exposure to toxins. Endocrine disruptors are a category of toxins that we know disrupt hormone function in the body, and this is important for men and women. As you can imagine, interference with your hormones is going to result in many issues, including things like obesity, fertility issues, certain cancers, and more. And surprisingly, close to 800 substances that you might use on a daily basis are actually known as endocrine disruptors. Now, when your toxic bucket is full, symptoms, like I mentioned, symptoms set in, disease sets in. And these are some of the symptoms and health issues that you can be experiencing when you have an overload of toxins in your system. You'll see many of these are common symptoms. Many of these are conditions or diagnoses that you may get from your doctor, right? So I want you to think for a moment, if you're experiencing any of these, could you in fact also be toxic? Something really important to think about. So where are toxins actually found? They are all around us, but these are some of the most toxic hotspots, so to speak, okay? So it's your personal care products, so think like shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste, deodorant, cosmetics. It's your household cleaners and products, so even think not just cleaners, but like pots and pans. It's in plastic, so think about your storage containers, your food containers, your water bottles. It's in processed foods and GMOs. It's through the overuse of pills and medications, so looking in your medicine cabinet. It's in our air and in our water. And I'm going to dive a little deeper into these categories in just a few minutes here. Now, as a holistic wellness center, we teach in the clinic, we teach our patients to live a 5 essentials life. Minimizing toxins is one of those 5 essentials. So today I'm going to share 5 key steps to terminating and minimizing toxins in your everyday life. So step number 1 is cut processed foods. Step number 2, check your home. Step number 3, stressing less. Step number 4, sweat more. And step number 5 is to keep your spine aligned. So I'm going to dive into these different areas and these steps. So step number 1 is to cut processed foods. Foods is one of the most important areas of toxicity to pay attention to because you guys, every single day, if you are like me, you eat and you eat several times a day. And I always say food is information to the body, and you have a choice with every single bite that you're taking that you're either going to feed health or you're going to feed disease. We know that there are over 10,000 chemicals allowed in our food by the FDA. These are things such as preservatives, additives, chemicals, and colors, and many of them are known to affect our central nervous system and even cause cancer. There is a job that some people have out there. They are called food scientists. Their job is to study how food affects the brain. Their job literally is to make the food you eat more addictive. And they find this perfect combination of salt and sugar and fat that makes you want to eat more and more of that said food. And part of that process is also the chemicals that they're using in those foods to make them so addictive as well. So, I'm going to skip ahead. These are the most common toxic foods and things that you need to be paying attention to. So number 1 is fried foods. Fried foods are made with the most toxic oils there are. So it's the hydrogenated oils, it's canola oil, soybean oil, even paying attention to corn oil and vegetable oil. These are the worst offenders. And these oils are bad because they oxidize easily. And oxidation is this process that occurs when oils are exposed to light, air, and heat. Oxidation is what promotes free radicals in the body, which are chemicals that are highly, highly reactive and have the potential to damage your cells, damage your DNA, and they may even lead to cancer. Number 2 is packaged foods. Packaged foods, they contain these bad oils and hydrogenated fats, but they also contain processed sugars. And we know the rates of diabetes, heart disease, and cancer are on the rise. And majority of that is because of our diet and the eating of processed packaged foods and fast foods. So think about the chemicals and the additives that are needed in order to keep those processed and packaged foods like shelf stable for several years. Also, over 90% of those oils I was just talking about, so the soy, the corn, the canola, they are grown in the US and they are GMO. So there are serious health risks associated to GMO foods, including immune dysfunction, accelerated aging, leaky gut, even insulin dysregulation, and type 2 diabetes. So GMO foods are genetically modified organisms. Just that name alone makes me think that I don't want to eat them, right? So there's some more studies. So we know from studies in regards to GMOs, there's actually a study of lab rats. That's what they use quite often. And they were exclusively fed GMO foods for 2 years. And at the end of the study, all of the rats had organ failure or organ damage, and half of them were sterile, and the other half that didn't die, they had these like strange aberrations, like they had growing hair between their teeth and around their organs. That's so strange. And then there was another study where GMO soy was fed to female rats, and most of their babies died. And these babies the babies that did not die were just smaller and possibly infertile. And then lastly, I found a study in 2013 where a Texas farmer came out to find 15 of his 19 cattle dead. And the reason was because they were grazing on GMO alfalfa. So you want to avoid GMO foods. Okay, you also want to avoid artificial colors. There's a report recently in April of 2021 from UC Berkeley, and they confirmed our long suspected belief that consumption of synthetic food dyes can cause hyperactivity and neurological issues, especially in children. So we know artificial colors have a big effect on the brain, and toxicity can come at a very young age. The report also found that federal rules for safe amounts of consumption of synthetic food dyes does not reflect the most current research and actually may not be protecting children's behavioral health at all. And then number 5, artificial sweeteners. They're everywhere. There's another study done of a little over 100,000 people. And they found artificial sweeteners, especially things like aspartame, which are used in many food and beverages, were associated with an increased risk of cancer. So one of the easiest ways to avoid and minimize these toxic foods is to focus on whole, unprocessed foods. These are the foods that you're going to find generally in the perimeter of the grocery store. So things like produce, like real good high quality meats, raw nuts and seeds, and even organic dairy products. And you guys, you also need to be reading labels. You need to become like detectives when it comes to reading labels. If you cannot pronounce an ingredient, then most likely it's going to fall into one of these 5 categories, okay? So what's the solution? At the end of the day, it comes to eating foods made by God, not by man. And we have created a nutrition plan. It's what we call our advanced plan. And the advanced plan is for someone who's looking to heal, someone who may have chronic health issues, might be looking to get off medications, someone who really needs to support the body to detoxify. So I recommend around 30 to 60 to 90 days of following the advanced plan to really help the body heal, repair, and detoxify. And so if you'd like some more information on this, you can go to our website at summitcda.com, or you can ask me questions in the clinic as well. Now, toxic bioaccumulation. I will tell you, and I share this a lot, the quality of the animal products you eat really, truly matters. Toxic bioaccumulation is this phenomenon where the higher up the food chain your food gets, the more toxic it is. So let's take fish, for example, okay? A very small fish is consuming toxins from water they're living in, but it might not be very high amounts, and most likely if it's wild caught, it's in clean water. But a bigger fish is going to eat that smaller fish, and then another fish is going to eat that fish, and then an even bigger fish is going to eat the previous fish. So what happens is the toxins from the small fish get passed to the bigger fish. And just think about it. So as you get higher up the food chain, going from a small fish to a large fish, you're going to get more toxins. So when purchasing animal products, you really want to make sure that you are getting the highest quality. So that's wild caught fish, grass-fed, pasture-raised animals as well, like chickens and beef, okay? We also know that crops, fruits, vegetables that our grandparents and great-grandparents ate do not have the same nutrient density of what we're eating today. So modern farming practices has really led to the depletion in our soil, and in turn that depletes the nutrients in our food. We know again from research that the Kushi Institute analyzed nutrient data from like this 1975 up to like 1997 and found that an average calcium level in 12 fresh vegetables dropped 27%. They found iron levels dropped 37%, vitamin A levels dropped 21%, and vitamin C levels dropped 30%. That was up until 97. So think about where we are now. It's many, many years past that, right? We also have another study that was done that concluded that you today would have to eat 8 oranges in order to get the same amount of nutrients, the same amount of vitamin A from eating 1 orange when our grandparents were around. Okay, so it just shows how much the nutrients have been depleted in our produce. And this is really why regenerative farming is becoming such a big deal, and eating foods from these types of farms have become so important. So first of all, these foods from these types of farms, they don't have a toxic load, and they're very rich in nutrients. So regenerative farming is a practice which actually focuses on the soil health and repairing the nutrients that were once in our soil so that the foods grown there have more nutrients. I also want to mention a great little tool for you is that the EWG, Environmental Working Group, shares a list each year of the produce that is the cleanest and the produce that has the highest toxic load. It's what they call the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen list. So these lists can be really, really helpful when shopping for organic produce, and it can make it more affordable by following them. So you can go to their website to find those lists. Okay, so when it comes to detoxifying, these are the top nutrients that I want you to think about in order for your body to detoxify effectively and efficiently, as it should be on a daily basis. Protein's very important. We need high levels of protein to support our body to detoxify, specifically from high quality animal protein, as your phase 2 of your detox pathway depends on very key amino acids which come from your protein. We need magnesium oxide. It's a mineral that helps to neutralize free radicals. We need chlorella, which is an algae that helps bind to heavy metals. Superoxide dismutase is an enzyme that helps our bodies defend against free radicals. Psyllium husk is a soluble fiber that helps the body eliminate toxins. And then active charcoal binds to and absorbs the toxins, so they get released from your body. 2 of my favorite supplements when it comes to supporting the body's natural detox system is our bone broth protein and the cell and body detox system. As I just shared, your body needs key nutrients to detoxify properly, and these products have those. So the cell and body detox is a 2-part system that both supports the removal of toxins at a cellular level, and it also has the nutrients needed to gently bind and eliminate those toxins from the body. So this is not like a colon cleanse or a liver flush. This is an actual cellular detox. And I have successfully helped hundreds of people reduce their toxic load by using these products. They are of the highest quality, and they are the right combination of nutrients that your body needs. I actually had a patient just share with me last week that she has lost 16 pounds in 30 days by eating to the advanced plan, drinking 1 of these protein shakes a day, and then taking the cell and body detox system. So the other great news is that she has not gained that weight back. She's kept it off. So you guys can purchase these supplements in our clinic or on our website. I'm going to share a link for them, for both of them, in just a few minutes with you, okay? Now, some of you might be asking, what about supplements? Could my supplements also be toxic? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Many supplements are loaded with artificial flavors, colors, additives, fillers. Some of them even have those terrible oils I was talking about, like canola and soybean oil. And many of the nutrients can be in less absorbable form. So it's really crucial to ensure you choose trustworthy supplement brands to avoid toxic supplements. Supplements are an amazing way to fill in the nutrient gaps that you might not receive from your diet. But the quality of your supplements really, really matters to ensure you're getting the highest quality nutrients without any of those toxins or fillers. So I'm going to tell you, you truly get what you pay for. And I'm really not kidding. The supplement industry is one of the most under-regulated industries, and you want to find brands that you can know, like, and trust. And of course, I know, and I love, and I trust the products that we sell in the clinic. And I'm really excited to share with you about our Pure Path product line. We are just starting to launch this line. Pure Path itself represents just our uncompromising commitment to high quality products. So Pure Path is the very first practitioner only brand with raw materials from certified regenerative organic farms. And I just shared how important getting your nutrients and foods from regenerative farms is. So we have the first line of supplements that comes from those regenerative farms. So health really starts from the inside out with your clean and closest to the source ingredients. And our farms that we use are committed to regenerative processing, starting from our seeds to the soil to create nutrient-dense superfood supplements. So you will not find any of these ingredients in the Pure Path brand. There are no artificial flavors, there are no vegetable oils, there's no additives, fillers, there's no pesticides or herbicides, and every single product is third-party tested. So right now in the clinic, we're offering the Pure Path protein powders. We are going to be getting the greens in very soon, and then collagen is coming next. So you can purchase them in the clinic or on our website, and I'll share links in just a minute here with you. Now, a big part of what I do in the clinic is I work with our patients and I work with those in our community to address the root cause of their health issues with different metabolic, hormone, even stool and nutrient testing. And I wanted to quickly share how testing can be beneficial to identify the role of toxicity in health issues. This is an example of our metabolomics test and the information that you get back from it. And we are able to see certain markers in your body. We can check for environmental toxins. We can check for heavy metals. We can also check to see if you have any nutrient deficiencies and any of those key vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and proteins that I shared are so important for your detoxification pathways to actually work correctly. So if you're interested in learning more about the testing that we offer, you can call the clinic. Or when you're in the clinic, you can just schedule time to meet with me to discuss further, and I can answer any questions that you may have. Now, step number 2 is to check your home. And where I want to start is with air quality. So the EPA has found indoor air is 2 to 100 times more toxic than our outdoor air. That's your indoor air in your home. The average American spends 90% of their life indoors, so the air in your home needs to be clean. So what can you do? First thing is you can open your windows on a daily basis, get a good cross breeze, even in the wintertime, you guys. I want you to open up those windows, get the air flowing to help it move and circulate. You can also change air filters frequently. You'd actually be surprised at how dirty they get. I have a dog, I have 3 kids. We bring a lot into the home. My air filters get dirty frequently. You can jump onto Google and you can check the air quality in your town where you live. So if you go onto Google and you type in IQ air, it will pull up the air quality for where you live. And if you live in the Coeur d'Alene area, you know it's going to be fire season before we know it at the end of the summer, and so checking air quality is going to be really important. You can also purchase high quality air purifiers. Some of my favorite are Air Doctor, Blue Air, IntelliPure, and then you can place plants throughout your home. I have plants in every room in my house, and just for the record, I do not have a green thumb. The plants that are most beneficial for removing pollution are plants that are really easy to keep healthy and alive. So think of things like the spider plant, the jade plant, different palm trees, so the butterfly, date, lady palm trees, the ficus, the peace lily. You can actually just get in and Google which plants are the best to remove pollutants, and you'll get a great list. Okay, let's talk about water here for a minute. You are exposed on average to 25 gallons of toxic contaminated water. If your skin repels 75% of those chemicals and toxins, I want you to think about what's happening with the other 25%. And I will tell you, it's getting into your body. We also use tap water each and every day, you guys, from brushing our teeth to washing our hands to showering to some of us even use it for cooking. And the EPA found that tap water contains over 84,000 chemicals, including things like pesticides, chlorine, and BCOSs, and more. A 15-minute shower is equivalent to drinking 8 glasses of harmful water. So I want you to think about that. The hot water produces steam when you're taking a shower, and then you inhale that, right? The steam also facilitates things like chloroform and TCE absorption that even cause cancer. So what can you do? You can purchase water filters for your faucets, for your shower head, for your refrigerator, or even your entire house. So really, anywhere you get water from, whether you're cooking it, drinking it, or bathing in it, you really want to filter that water. And there's some really good brands that I recommend, such as Berkey and Aquasana. Now, this is a great tool and resource. You can go to the EWG and their tap water database. I actually did this with a patient yesterday. And you can enter in your zip code and check your city's water for contaminants. This is an example of the Coeur d'Alene city water. So it is sharing with us that there are 7 known contaminants. And if you look a little more closely, you'll see that Coeur d'Alene city water has almost 1,500 times the healthy level based on the EWG standards for arsenic. Now, the potential health effects from arsenic is cancer. So please, please, please drink filtered water if you live in the Coeur d'Alene area. I will tell you the majority of my one-on-one clients do heavy metal testing, and arsenic is usually one of those heavy metals that I'm frequently finding in higher levels than what I really like to see for people. So take the time, go to the EWG tap water database and check your water. Okay, so let's go through some of the rooms in your home that have the most toxins, and we're going to start with the bathroom. So your bathroom is the first room that likely is loaded with toxins, and some of the most common products that likely contain these toxins are things like cleaners. So think about phthalates, ammonia, fragrances, cosmetics. They have things such as formaldehyde and carcinogenics. Your shampoo, your conditioner, your face wash, your soap, your hairspray. So your skin is the largest organ in your body. It's like a giant mouth. And our cosmetics are one of the biggest culprits for toxins in our everyday life. Every day our skin comes into contact with so many different products. And ladies, listen to this. The average woman uses 12 personal care products every day, and that totals about 168 chemicals that they're slathering on their skin. We also know from research that the average woman absorbs around 5 pounds of makeup every year. So where should you start? These are the first 5 things I would start to change out. So your deodorant, your makeup, your toothpaste, and then your body wash and your body lotion. And I know that switching to non-toxic products can be very expensive and it can be overwhelming. So as you start to run out of things, replace them. So as you run out of deodorant, replace it with a non-toxic version. I have a little cheat sheet for you. If you can take your phone out, and it will be on the next couple slides as well, but if you can scan the QR code on this screen, it's going to take you to a link on the EWG's website, and it will share with you recommendations for non-toxic beauty products, okay? So don't worry, it's going to be on the next couple slides as well. I want you to also think about your medicine cabinet. So think about things like antibiotics, antacids, laxatives. Antibiotics, this is the atomic bomb to your gut. They don't just destroy the bad, we know they destroy the good bugs too. And we know antibiotic use can lead to things like candida overgrowth, which can then lead to major health issues, contributes to leaky gut. We know antacids aren't the real reason people experience indigestion and heartburn. It's not because they are too acidic. It's actually because their stomach acid is not acidic enough. And so taking antacids just puts fuel in the fire, and it's going to lead to things like dysbiosis, nutritional deficiencies, and a whole host of other health issues. And even think about laxatives. A lack of laxatives is not the reason for your constipation. There is a root cause. And again, taking medications does not necessarily address the problem. They are temporary solutions that can create a cascade of health issues. And now I do believe there's a time and a place for medications. I'm not saying that, but these are just some of the examples of common pills and medications found in medicine cabinets that people are taking on a regular basis that just set the stage for health issues and create the opportunity for toxins to get through the gut lining and into the bloodstream. So now let's talk about your kitchen. The cleaning supplies in your homes are one of the biggest sources of toxicity, and it's not just your all-purpose cleaner. Think about it's your detergent, your dish detergent that sits on your dishes so you can eat it as you eat your food. It's the cloud of steam that comes out of your dishwasher during the drying cycle that you then breathe in. It's the plastic Tupperware that leaches toxins into your food as it cools. It's even the cookware that leaches toxins into your food. So you can, again, scan the code on the screen with your phone. It's going to take you to the EWG's website for really good recommendations on non-toxic cleaners. But I want you to think about pots and pans. Many pots and pans are coated with a nonstick chemical, which we call the PTFE. It's also known as Teflon. And Teflon is extremely common. It's a common nonstick surface, so it makes it very easy to cook and clean, right? However, research has linked Teflon products to being potentially carcinogenic. So when pots and pans are heated, the chemicals in the Teflon are released into your food and then you ingest them, okay? So I want you to think about that. Some of the main products that you're using in your kitchen that are toxic are the cleaners, it's the storage containers, it's the pots and pans, and your food. Do not forget about food. Okay, the last room I want to talk about is your laundry room. Toxicity is also in your laundry detergent. It then sticks to your clothes and then it can seep into your skin, especially when you're sweating. So some of the products that likely contain toxins in your laundry room are your detergents, they're your stain removers, it's using bleach, it's your dryer sheets. So there are great suggestions for alternatives with the code. Even think about switching out your dryer sheets for something like wool balls. I use those at home, they're very effective. Okay, so let's move on. Step number 4 is peace management. Stress is a toxin to your body, right? I think we all know this. We know from Bruce Lipton's research that a growth state versus a protective state affects the ability of our bodies to heal and detoxify. So I want you to think about mindset. I want you to think about stress. I want you to think about your life. So our body is like a giant petri dish, and based on what's going on with our brain, it changes the chemistry in our body. So when your brain is in a place of joy and love and gratitude and happiness, you have chemicals that you're releasing like dopamine and the growth hormone and let's see, what are some other ones? Well, those are the big ones. And they're being released, and then all these chemicals enhance the cells in your body and the health of your cells. So they're like, they make you happy. They make your body want to be in this healing state and in this state of health. Now, on the flip side of that, when you're in a protective state or you're in a constant state of like stress and anger and worry and shame and sadness and depression, your internal petri dish and those chemicals in your body are just completely different. They're radically different. And so you release chemicals like cortisol and adrenaline and epinephrine, and these chemicals literally shut down the growth and healing in your body. So what goes on in your mindset and in your brain can have a direct impact on your body's ability to heal. So it's incredibly important to find peace, practice peace, and remove stress in your life. And I know it can be hard to do. There's some stressors that are just really hard to remove, but I have some suggestions for you to help try to practice peace. So you can take a walk, especially when the weather is beautiful. Today's a beautiful day outside in Coeur d'Alene. The sun is shining. The sun is amazing for your soul. You can start journaling. You can start reading. You can spend quality time with your family. The key here is quality. It's not being on your phone. So you could do something like, okay, we're having dinner, kids. All of us together, we're having dinner. No phones allowed. You can go on date night, not just with your spouse, but go on date night with your kids. And then prioritize downtime. Most people don't do this. We put everything else first, but I want you to think about prioritizing downtime. This can be incredibly beneficial for your health. At the end of the day, we also know that the news and social media can have a negative impact on our health and our thoughts. The news and the media is a main source of stress for most people. I know it can be for me. It seems like every day there's more negativity being plastered all over the news, and there's a lot of fear that's being pushed. So detoxing, doing a technology detox can be incredibly valuable. Even think about social media. It's so easy to start comparing ourselves to others on social media, and that is not going to do anything for our mindset, and it's going to cause stress. So I highly recommend taking a detox, do a technology detox along with a cellular detox to really help you practice this peace management, okay? Okay, step number 4, sweat more. Your skin is a very large organ. It's the largest organ in your body that helps you detox by sweating. So sweating releases toxins like BPA and PCBs, making it very important for healthy overall well-being. I want to share one more study with you guys. So there was a study that was designed to assess the concentration of BPA in our bodily fluids. So it was in blood, urine, and sweat. And it was really to determine whether inducing sweating could be a therapeutic intervention with the potential to facilitate the elimination of BPA. So 20 people participated, and what they found was that in 16 of those 20 participants, BPA was identified in sweat. In some individuals, there was no BPA detected in their serum, so there was none detected in their blood or in their urine sample. So the point is that sweating gets the toxins out of the body very effectively. So I encourage you to move your body and push yourself a little bit more. So if you are sedentary right now, I encourage you to start walking. If you're already walking quite often, I encourage you to start lifting weights. If you're lifting weights, I encourage you to start adding in a HIIT workout. The whole point is that exercise helps you to sweat. So where you are at right now, what I want you to do and what I recommend is that you level yourself up so that you can sweat more. So you can do this through exercise, and we all need to be moving our bodies. It's one of the 5 essentials of health. But you can also do things like taking a very hot shower and using the sauna as well. Okay, lastly, step number 5, keep your spine aligned. I think of a lot of organs when it comes to detoxifying, such as the liver, the kidneys, our lymphatic system, but one that is incredibly important that we often don't think about is our nervous system. And this is where chiropractic can help you to support detoxification. So when the body begins to struggle with a toxin overload, certain areas of the body can be forced to start storing some of these toxins. Common areas are your visceral fat and your joints. Your body wants to protect you, so it's going to wrap up toxins in your fat cells and store them away as a protective mechanism. But it's also doing that in your joints, and this is where your spine becomes really important. So toxic buildup in the spine can really be exacerbated when the spinal misalignments or subluxations occur because it affects our local nerve energy flow, right? So restoring spinal alignment is really going to help open and support our natural detox pathways and prevent unnecessary storage and buildup of toxins. So my point is get adjusted regularly. Not only are you going to reap the benefits of what it's doing for your health and your pain, but also is going to help you with detoxifying. Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, that's it. I feel like I was just spitting out of a fire hose. That was a lot of information I shared with you. So what can you do? What are action steps? Hopefully you were actively listening and taking notes. So there's 2 things. You can go back and you can rewatch this webinar. We will be sharing it. We'll be uploading it to our YouTube channel. You can go back and revisit your notes. This is what I want you to do. I want you to choose one action step that you're going to put into action to help minimize the amount of toxins that you're coming in contact with on a daily basis. So remember, the power is in the action. So I want to know, and I would love for you to share, if you're willing to, what you're going to do to decrease the toxic load in your life. If you want to learn more about the Pure Path protein and the detox system, you can click on the links that I'm going to share with you right now. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. Okay, so here's the bone broth protein I was sharing about. And then here is the detox system. So you can learn more. You can always ask me questions in the clinic. You can purchase online or in the clinic. And then if you want to continue to learn about toxins, I invite you to watch the recent webinar that I recorded called my Mountain webinar. It stands for Metabolism, Toxicity, and Nutrition. I spent a lot of time sharing the roles that toxins play in your metabolism. So I'm going to share that link with you guys really quick. So here is the link to that webinar. Make sure it got loaded. Okay, it looks like it did. And then lastly, I want to invite you guys to stay connected with us. We share a lot of great content on our social media profile. We also share a lot about upcoming events. So you can follow both myself and the clinic on Facebook. So we would love for you to go give us a follow at Summit Family Chiropractic on Facebook. I can be found at Summit Nutrition. On that page, I'm specifically sharing tips, tricks, recipes when it comes to your nutrition. And then we are also on Instagram. So if you are on Instagram, we'd love for you to follow us both at Summit CDA, and then I have my own nutrition account at Nutrition with Cece. So that's it. Thanks again for joining me. Remember, action is power. So what action will you be taking in your health? And I hope you guys learned a lot and you have a very blessed day.